Track 6.2, Unit 6. Listening to.
There are many diseases we know about and understand the causes of. However, sometimes there are outbreaks of a disease that are unexpected, and nobody understands why so many people are getting sick. Today, I'm going to discuss two case studies, one in Senegal in West Africa and the other in Guam, an island in the Pacific Ocean. In both places, there were epidemics affecting many people. Researchers had to investigate the causes of these epidemics. The first situation, in Senegal, concerns a disease called schistosomiasis. Schistosomiasis is caused by a parasite released into rivers by freshwater snails. When anyone comes into contact with the river, the parasite is transmitted to their skin, causing fevers, coughs, stomach pains, and general sickness. Although schistosomiasis is one of the most common diseases from a parasite in the world, no one in this part of Senegal had it before 1986, the year the Diama Dam was built on the Senegal River. Soon after the dam was built, people started to become ill. In fact, by 1988, 90% of the population had come down with the disease. Finding a solution to this health crisis became critical. After a lot of research, scientists traced the problem back to the dam. This is what they found. Before the dam was built, there were a lot of prawns in the Senegal River. The prawns ate the freshwater snails that lived in the river, and there was no disease. However, the construction of the dam caused the water in the river to flow differently. This, in turn, changed the prawns' natural habitat and eventually led to their extinction. With no natural predators left in the river, the snail population increased rapidly. More snails led to more parasites in the river water, and suddenly many people started to become very ill. A group of researchers called Project Crevette decided that the best way to eliminate the disease was to restore the environmental conditions of the river so the prawns would be able to live there again. If the prawns returned to the river, they would eat the snails. This would mean fewer parasites in the river and ultimately less disease. This approach to solving a health problem is significant because it focuses on the main cause of the disease rather than simply giving people medicine to treat the disease. Now, let's look at a case study in Guam, a small island in the Pacific Ocean. In the late 1940s, the local people, known as the Chamorro, contracted a neurological disease called litigo-bodig. As the disease only seemed to affect the Chamorro, scientists argued that something in their diet must be the cause. Every day, the Chamorro made bread using the seeds of the cycad plant. These seeds were known to contain a toxin, so researchers initially thought that the flour must be the cause of the epidemic. However, the seeds were washed several times before they were used, and this removed most of the toxins, meaning that the flour couldn't have caused the disease. At this point, the researchers discovered two interesting facts. More men had the disease than women, and men ate more meat than women. The most commonly eaten meat in the area was the flying fox, and the flying fox regularly ate the seeds of the cycad plant. This meant that there was a high concentration of toxins in the meat of the flying fox, and this fact led researchers to suspect that the meat may have been the cause of the epidemic. Later, they learned that when the flying fox population declined due to overhunting, the incidence of litigo bodig also started to decrease. And this confirmed that flying fox meat was the cause of the epidemic. So these are just two examples of the various factors that need to be taken into account when investigating an unusual incidence of a disease. Personally, I think they are quite interesting case studies because they demonstrate that while researching diseases can be challenging, it's also incredibly rewarding.